Something is stealing your identity right now, and there's a good chance you don't even know it's happening. I'm not talking about identity theft in your bank account. I'm talking about something much quieter and more devastating. I'm talking about the way chronic illness slowly convinces you that you are your diagnosis, until one day you wake up and realize you've not introduced yourself as a full human being in years. You've been introducing yourself as a patient. I call this the brand identity thief. I call this the identity thief. And today, we are going to name it, call it out, and take back what it stole. I'm Annah Kate, your transformation trainer, integrative health coach, lupus thriver, and somebody who lost herself inside a diagnosis before she learned how to get herself back. This one is personal. So let's get into it. Here's how the identity thief works. Your brain is a meaning-making machine. It organizes your sense of self around what you do, what you produce, what you perform, what you show up for. That's not a flaw, it's neuroscience. But here is what happens when chronic illness enters the picture. The doing gets disrupted. The performance gets inconsistent. And showing up becomes conditional. And your brain, trying to be helpful, trying to create order, scrambles for a new anchor, a new answer to, who am I? And if you're not careful, it finds one fast and it lands on a label in your chart. You stop being Sarah, who loves hiking and has lupus. You become a lupus patient who used to hike. Do you hear the difference? One of those is a woman, and one of those is a condition. So early on in my medical mystery adventure, I decided that I have this, but I'm not going to keep it. It doesn't define me. It's something I have to navigate. And the identity thief moves the sense of self from the woman to the condition, and most people never even notice that it happens. I used to run. I used to be the person everyone called. I used to be able to. There's a whole list of used to coulds. Those 3 words, I used to, are how the identity thief announces it has moved in. Right now, you may be thinking, but Annah Kate, that grief is real. I really did lose things. I really can't do what I used to do. And you're right. That grief is 100% real, and it deserves to be honored. And here's the thing. Grief and identity are 2 different rooms in the same house. You can grieve what you lost in one room and still know who you are in another. The identity thief convinces you that the 2 rooms are the same. They are not. All right, so what does God say? Here's the part that nobody is talking about. And honestly, it's the part that changes everything. Okay. The identity thief is sneaky because it hides behind logic. Of course, your illness shapes who you are. Of course, you have to plan around your symptoms. Sure, it's true. But there's a difference between your illness informing your life and your illness becoming your identity. And the place that I find the clearest line between those 2 things is in Scripture. Ephesians 2:10 calls you God's poiema, P-O-I-E-M-A. I'm probably saying that completely wrong, so forgive me. But it's the Greek word. Poiema. I'm not going to say, I'm butchering it. But it's a word that means which and where we get the word poem. Okay? You are a poem that God is still writing. A sick poem is still a poem. A tired poem is still a poem. An unfinished poem is still beautiful. And the illness is one stanza, it's not the whole book. Psalm 139 says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Not fearfully and wonderfully made unless your body stops cooperating. Not wonderfully made when you can perform at full capacity. Unconditional. The value, the identity was written before the body ever had a bad day. The identity thief cannot touch what God has already signed. Here is something I say to every client I work with at the start of our time together. You are not broken. You have been bracing. There's a difference. Broken means over. Bracing means you're holding yourself steady in a storm that was never supposed to last forever. Those are two completely different stories. Now, that was the why, and it's time for the what. Because naming the identity thief is one thing. Evicting it is another. This takes a little bit of conscious effort. The identity thief shows up in 3 specific disguises. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. Thief number 1. The diagnosis is personality. This one is the most common and the most invisible. It's when the illness becomes the opening sentence of your identity. Because of my condition, with my illness, every decision is filtered through the label. Every conversation is anchored to that condition. The cost, you stop being the person who has a health challenge and start being a health challenge who also happens to have a life. That swap is costing you more than you know. Thief number 2, the comparison to your former self. I used to be able to do so much. This thief dresses up as honesty. It sounds reasonable. But what it's actually doing is holding your present self up against a measuring stick your present body can never reach. The calling that is an honest assessment. It's not an honest assessment. It's cruelty with good intentions. And here is something important I need you to hear about Thief 2. When you shrink your goals to match your current capacity, that's not self-sabotage. You don't self-sabotage. You self-protect. Your nervous system is doing its job. The problem is not the protection. The problem is when the protection becomes permanent, when what we were meant to be in a season becomes a sentence. Thief number 3, other people's definitions. And their definitions are well-intentioned, but they just miss the mark. That family member who keeps telling you to try harder or work out more and it'll strengthen your joints, or do this or do that, or the doctor who doesn't believe in you. It doesn't believe that you have all these symptoms and the labs look fine. There's nothing wrong with you. You're making it up. You need more rest. I know that there's something wrong with me. I need you to help me to figure it out. Or the wellness culture that sold you a lie about what a healthy person looks like. The church community that does not quite know what to do with someone who hasn't been labeled yet. Every one of those voices is an external definition trying to move you into your internal address. And every one of them is trespassing. Don't let people walk through your brain with muddy shoes. Okay. So here is the practical framework. I call it the identity reset, and you can find it in the vault. Just go to liberateyourawesome.com/vault. Link is in the show notes, and you can get this free 5-day workbook that you can work around and do the things that you want to do. Just start to do a little bit of practice in that reframing. So, step 1, separate the condition from the core. Grab a piece of paper right now. Write down 5 things you know to be true about yourself that have nothing to do with your health. Not what you can do, not what you can produce, but who you are. Loyal, curious, fierce, inquisitive. a great listener, a woman who keeps showing up. Start there. If you can name 5, that tells you how deep the identity thief is in. And it tells you exactly why you're watching this. Step 2, name what's true. What do you love that the illness has not taken? What brings you to life that does not require a fully functioning body? What parts of your character, your grit, your faith, your empathy have actually gotten stronger in this hard season? You have built resilience. Name where you've built that resilience. Write those down. Not as a consolation prize, but as evidence that you are still here. All right, step 3, write your living definition. One sentence. It starts with, I am a woman who, I am a man who. It has nothing to do what is wrong with your body. Who are you? Not what do you have? Who are you? Write that sentence. Say it out loud. Let it feel uncomfortable if it needs to. That discomfort is the identity thief realizing its lease has just gotten terminated. If you tell people your name and tell them your condition in the same sentence, the identity thief has really taken anchor. Set up shop. And you might be thinking, that sounds too simple to actually work. So here's how I know that it's working with women from inside my 90-day breakthrough. The women who cannot complete step 1 are the ones who need this the most. It is simple, but it's not easy. There is a difference. You can't reclaim what you have not named. So today, name it. The identity thief is real. It's common, and it's not the end of your story. Comment Thrive below this video, and I will send you the free identity reset kit. 5 days of scripture, neuroscience, and journal prompts to walk through at your own pace. And all 3 steps in the identity reset. It's free, it's specific, and it works. We tend to not do the very simple things because we feel like it should be more complicated. So if you are ready to go deeper, to do this work with real accountability and a plan that's built for your actual body and actual life, think about joining my 90-day program, working with me one-on-one. So you can do the 90-day breakthrough, or you can do the intentional body project, depending on where you need the support and resources. Because you deserve a guide who has been where you are and knows the way out. Until next week, take a nap, eat a snack, and remember, you're not broken. You've been bracing. And every ripple starts small, but it changes everything. So go out and liberate your awesome.